What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to TTB Ravens Media. Today's a holiday. It's Mock Draft Monday. It's also St. Patrick's Day, so I'm doing a special episode of Mock Draft Monday. If you're new to the channel, new to the series, every Monday of the offseason, 7-round, no trade, Baltimore Ravens Mock Draft. This time, I'm doing it pseudo live. I've done this in past years. The first time doing it this year, where I take you guys through. You guys can see the board while I'm drafting. I take you through my thoughts. I've scouted most of the players, at least the players being drafted in the first 3 or 4 rounds. I've talked about a lot of them, but there's a lot of players, round 5, round 6, round 7. I haven't scouted every single one of those guys. So if you guys see somebody that's available, let me know and say like, hey, I think this guy's a really good fit, because again, there's a lot of players day 3. I'm not going to be able to scout all of them. So I want to hear guys that you guys want to see scouting. So you guys get to see the players that are available, and we can talk about all of them in future mocks. This won't have any graphics because, again, I'm doing this live. I do have thoughts on every single player that I'm going to draft, at least through the first 4-5 rounds. I do know about them. I have watched almost all of them, especially first, second, third round guys. So make sure to subscribe for more. Road to 5,000 subscribers. But let's jump right into it. So as you can see, these are the settings I've been using. I believe I've used these. Sometimes I shift up the public versus PFF board a little bit, but this one I'm just going PFF. Pretty simple. Randomness is pretty low. Draft for needs, pretty standard. And again, I don't do any trades, but here we go. Here's the players available, and I'm going to double check that this is in the right spot. There we go. So these are the players available. And right off the bat, I told you guys, I know what I want to do. I have not drafted this guy first. I'm very happy he's available. Darius Alexander is the player that I want to draft here. Now, why do I want to draft Darius Alexander? I think he's an absolute monster. I've scouted him before. I think he's one of the best defensive tackles in this draft, but he can play on the edge. He played 3-4 defensive end. He lined up a lot on the interior, but he also lined up at edge. Fantastic against the run. Incredible physicality. He does have aggressive rip throughs. He has aggressive arm bars. He's able to make those like explosive plays in the run game. But that means that he has the ability to do it in the pass game as well. He does provide pass rush potential. And for the Baltimore Ravens, having 2 defensive linemen, 2 D tackles, 3-4 D ends if you want to play them in that sort of sense, that can technically line up on the edge in Matabike and Darius Alexander would be phenomenal, right? We already have Travis Jones. Travis Jones, you can't line out wide. So we could have 3 guys that can all stop the run really well, but all can definitely get to the passer as well. Darius Alexander is one of my favorite players in this draft class, and I'm yet to draft him in a mock draft, so I'm really happy he's available, because the guys that I do like, right? The Donovan Ezrakus, the Banks, or the Jade Barons, right? All these players are now going way earlier. And I'm looking, Ezraku went 21. You guys can't see it. Jade Barron went 13. These are players that I was drafting early in these mocks, and they just keep flying up the draft board. So, I feel like I have a good sense of like who's actually pretty good. I've been doing this for years. I feel like I'm pretty accurate, at least as first round picks go. And even honestly, day 2, day 3 guys, I feel like I think I'm better than average, I would say. You guys could be the judge of that. You can let me know. But I'm starting off, we're drafting Darius Alexander. The other players that were available also, like, I would have a tough time taking him over Ezraku or Jade Barron. But again, I don't think they're going to necessarily be available. Darian Porter just went. Jack Sawyer just went. Shitman Ravel just went. Caleb Johnson just went. Just giving you guys some names. Pass rushers Princely Unman Mielen just went. So let's look at the players available right now. Alfred Collins out of Texas. Again, already took D-line. I could definitely go JTT. I think he's a very, very good football player. But the player that I think I want to go, and I'm really happy he's available, is Benjamin Morrison. I'm a huge fan of Benjamin Morrison. He had the hip injury, I believe it was last year, so he did miss the college football playoff. But this is one of the best ball hawks in the entire draft class. And if he hadn't gotten hurt, this is a first-round cornerback. Like, this is a guy in conversations with Will Johnson. This is a guy in conversations sometimes with Jade Barron. This is a phenomenal cornerback that is a true number 1 outside corner. Against the run, he's nothing special. He's kind of a willing tackler, not a great tackler, which, for a lockdown number 1 corner, I'm fine with that. We need cornerbacks. I do think we absolutely need it. So if we don't go corner round 1, I think round 2, getting secondary is massive. So I am going to go with Benjamin Morrison. I'm very happy that he was available. I'll scroll a little bit more. We can see some more players that are available. Kevin Winston Jr. I do really like, but I think corner is more valuable than safety for our defense in terms of drafting this early. So Benjamin Morrison it is. Maybe Kevin Winston will be available round 3. I don't know. And it looks like he did go. But one of my other favorite safeties in this draft class is available. Andrew Makuba out of Texas. This guy's an absolute monster. Do-it-all safety. I absolutely see him as a day 2 pick. I think he could be a round 2 safety. And if you're looking at like plug and play safeties in this draft class, Makuba's more plug and play right now than Nick Emenwari. And I know a lot of people love Emenwari, but like Makuba's a phenomenal safety. I think he's going to be the guy. I'll scroll a little bit more just to get a sense of who's available. I like Deion Walker, but again, we already went Darius Alexander. Let's see. Ashton Gillette is actually pretty good. I would not mind the Ravens taking a snag on him. I like Kobe Bryant, but we already went with corner. So I think I will be going with Makuba. And just so you guys know, this is very fast. When I do my normal mock drafts, I usually scout at least 3 players every time. Like even if I've seen Makuba, right? So normally I would also be checking out, right? I would check out Ransom, and I would be checking out Anthony Belton, and I would be checking out. Actually, I think I have watched Anthony Belton, but I'd be checking out Kamen Rucker and Isaiah Bond, let's say, just to see and watch more players. But again, because I'm doing this pseudo live, I'm just going through my thoughts very quickly. Again, I've scouted Makuba. I think he's phenomenal. He's the guy that I'm going to draft. Next up, pick 129. This is round 4. Also, remember, guys, I don't do any redos on these mock drafts. I do one mock draft every Monday. That's just how I do it. That's how I've always done it. Now, the players that are available, I've drafted Powell Ryland before. I love him. I've drafted Chase Lunt. I've drafted Brashard Smith. I've drafted Riley Mills. Again, we have 2 4th-round picks, about 7 or 8 picks apart. Benjamin Urosic, he's a tight end, former Stanford guy. Don't necessarily love him, but Billy Bowman, I know a lot of people are big fans of him, but I just went safety, so kind of hard for me to convince myself to go there. I wouldn't mind going with another corner, like an Elijah Huzzy. I have not watched a lot of him. I don't know his game like very well. Zy Alexander, I believe I have drafted. I don't dislike him. We do need depth at the cornerback position, but again, since we pick again in 7 picks, I think I do want to go corner. And honestly, I'm going to look at who's taller. Or who's bigger. 6'2" out of Zy Alexander, that's right. I do like that. And then let's look at Elijah Huzzy, who I have not watched at all. I do not know anything about him. 11 forced incompletions, that's pretty good. 5'10". I've watched Zy Alexander. I'm going to go with him. Let me know if I made a mistake there. But I think getting 2 corners is valuable because of the lack of depth that we have. I think we do need to do it. And unfortunately, one of my guys, Antoine Powell-Ryland, went right after that. That's unfortunate. I really wanted to snag him, but corner is more valuable. Tyler Batty, I don't mind out of BYU. Yeah, he's a bigger guy. But, just looking around, trying to get more secondary pieces, maybe interior offensive line, or do I just say screw it? Do I just go all in on the corners? Because we need corners. Huzzy is available still. Quincy Riley was graded terribly by PFF. I've not watched him at all. Track background, PFF. I'm not even going to read that. Let's go with Elijah Huzzy. 11 PPUs last year. Pretty good. 5'10". The Ravens need corners, and I feel like I'm going to go corner. Now, moving on, round 5, pick 176. Last pick of the 5th round, actually. Fun fact. And I think I know who I want to go here. I think I haven't gone offensive line. Logan Brown brings versatility. A little bit shorter arms for a tackle, but, I've drafted him before. No sacks allowed this year. I don't even think he had any sacks allowed last year. Let me double check that. Yeah, no sacks allowed this year, last year, or the year before that. But last year he did only play in 1 game, so doesn't really count. But no sacks this year. 6'6", shorter arms, potential interior guy, backup for Ronnie Stanley, backup for Roger Rosengarten. I like him. I'll scroll through so you guys can see more players. I don't dislike Bashal Tutin, but for the Ravens, running back, I feel like we got the speed guys, right? We have Keaton Mitchell, we have Rasheen Ali, we have Justice Hill. It's not necessarily the lane I want to go if we do end up drafting a running back, which I'm sure I will in this class. So I'm going to go with Logan Brown, someone that I really like in this class. We're picking again. This is like 7 picks later. We have so many picks in this class. But let's scroll through here. Now is where I start to get to the players that I haven't scouted a lot of them. I do really like Dante Thornton, deep threat. I do like Ty Felton out of Maryland as well. So I might be, here he is, ranked 213. I might wait to get him and just try and snag him. Or I could try and snag both. I mean, Dante Thornton is more of a deep threat. Ty Felton is more of an intermediate slot receiver, super quick, super fast. Definitely get him going in the screen game, get him going into the quick route game, all that sort of thing. So, maybe I'm going to take Thornton and then also grab Ty Felton, just so that now when you look at this Ravens team, I haven't even made a video on this, but we re-signed Tylan Wallace. But now you look at our wide receiver depth chart, and it would be Zay, Bate, Nook, Tylan, and then Thornton and Ty Felton. I really like that combination because each of them brings something different. There's a lot of speed that you can bring in off the bench, a lot of deep threats. Like Ty Felton isn't a gadget player, but you can utilize him in gadget plays if you need to find a way to get him on the field, right? Get rid of Zay as the gadget guy. Let Zay kind of be more of a nuanced route runner because I think he does have some of that skill. So I think I'm going to try and draft him as well. And we have so many of these picks. So we're going back-to-back wide receiver. We have 3 more selections in this class. So just scrolling through so you guys can see. Teddy Buchanan, I've drafted him before. I really like RJ Mickens. I like Oronde Gadsden. The second, he's a good player. Unfortunately, the streak is over. I think it was like 6 or 7 straight mock drafts I'd taken Jay Higgins. The Jets snagged him. The Jets took my guy. So that's unfortunate. Can't grab him. Ty Robinson is just a big interior defensive lineman. But let's see here. I think I'm going to go with Teddy Buchanan out of Cal. Just pulling up the stats. I drafted him in my first mock draft. It's been a long time since I scouted this guy, trying to just remember. Okay, yeah, he is big. He has the size. Tied for 11th for coverage stops for linebackers is pretty impressive. Decent pass rush grade, better coverage grade. I think we're going with Teddy Buchanan. I know a lot of you like him, and again, I've watched him. I watched him the first week I did scouting 8 weeks ago, so it's been a little bit. I'll have to check my notes after the video to remember exactly what it is. But we draft 2 picks later, so drafting him isn't like a massive negative. Do we want to go with a tight end or do we want to go with another safety? We did put the tender on our Darius Washington. We drafted Makuba, but maybe just getting that 4th safety could be the move here. Looking at who's available, I do really like RJ Mickens. Jimmy Horn's a deep threat. I haven't gone with a running back yet. Scrolling through even more, Bernadelle. Unfortunately, not drafting Bernadelle out of Stanford. Do like him though, really good dude. Jabbar Muhammad, I don't mind, but we have drafted a few cornerbacks already. I think let's go with a tight end here. Let's go with Oronde Gadsden. 6'5", the right size, good hands, fluid tight end. Needs to work on his blocking, but in 2 years, I think he could become a contributing tight end on this team. And I think he has the traits to develop into what the Ravens are looking for out of their tight ends. Now, final pick in the draft, I could go with kicker. Let's see who the kickers are available. So if you guys are like, oh, this is the best kicker, you can let me know. But these are the guys in the class. There's 8, 9 of them. There's 4 kickers and 4 punters. I don't think I'm going to go with that. I think that's kind of boring. We don't need a backup quarterback as well. Shout out to Cooper Rush, now current Baltimore Raven. But let's see here. Scrolling through, Tommy Hill out of Nebraska. Someone that I do not mind that I wonder if he's available is Colin Oliver. Um, he is available. I think I'm going to take Colin Oliver with my final pick. I had an injury, missed almost the entire year this year. He's an undersized pass rusher, but he's very productive, very quick. Developmental guy. It might take him a little bit to get back from injury, but I think he does have the traits to potentially become pretty good. And again, it's their 7th-round pick. So let's see who ends up being the final selection or the final grade. I'll zoom out here for you guys. So we've got Darius Alexander, Benjamin Morrison, Makuba. I think, honestly, that might be like my perfect first 3 picks. Those would be the 3 guys in terms of players that are likely to be available. Now, I would go as Araku. I would go Barron over Darius Alexander, but I don't necessarily think they'll be available. So Darius Alexander right now is sitting at my number 1 player for the Ravens to grab. Benjamin Morrison, if we don't go corner round 1, he's my favorite to go in round 2. And Makuba is probably the best safety for the Ravens to draft, in my opinion, value-wise. Like, I think he's much better value-wise than a Malachi Starks or a Nick Emenwari, or even like a Xavier Watts or a Kevin Winston. Like, I think Makuba is that guy. Now, after that, I like going the corner. Like, I went 4 straight secondary picks, but honestly, that's based on our depth right now. We do not have a lot of corners, right? We only have 2 starters, right? We have Marlon in the slot. We have Nate Wiggins outside. I like TJ Tampa. I think TJ Tampa would be our number 3 outside corner right now with this draft class. He would be ahead of Zy Alexander and ahead of Elijah Huzzie. But Benjamin Morrison would jump in front of him. TJ Tampa, Jalen Armour-Davis, right? Those guys would be battling it out for those, those dime corner slots, depending on if you go dime with a safety or a corner. And then going 2 wide receivers late, I do like that. Again, we have a ton of picks this year. I feel like I didn't miss any positions. Now, we could have gone with a running back, but again, the running backs that were available, I felt like they didn't necessarily fit or bring anything new to the team. Like, I like some of the guys, but not really worth sacrificing out on corner depth, which is our biggest need right now, to go after a guy like that. Now, the one concern I have is maybe I didn't get edge rushers. Now, again, I said you can put Darius Alexander on the edge. He can stop the run pretty well. He can set the edge. The question is, immediately he's not going to be a dominant pass rusher from the edge. He could develop a pass rush bag for the edge. Right now, he's more of an interior pass rusher, but has all the traits that you would need to become a Pro Bowl, All-Pro type D end or D tackle, depending on what the Ravens classify him as in the NFL. So didn't go edge is probably the one big thing that this is missing. I mean, Colin Oliver's not going to be a standout player immediately, but let me know in the comment section down below your guys' thoughts on this mock draft. Had a lot of fun doing it. If you like this style, please let me know. Happy St. Patrick's Day. I did wear green. I thought about wearing a green jersey, but I only got one, and it's a Packers jersey. So I don't know. Maybe you guys wanted to see that. You guys know I collect jerseys. But thank you all so much for watching. Subscribe for more. And I'll see all of you again next time, which I'll be talking about kind of the Ravens depth additions, talking about Tylan Wallace, Cooper Rush. We signed the linebacker from the Rams. I know he went to Iowa State. I'm blanking on his name. Hummel, something like that. But let me know in the comment section down below your thoughts, your mock drafts as well. And I'll see you all again next time.